So why did you start No Diploma? How did it come about? And what did it look like before, and what does it look like now?
Well, the origin story of No Diploma is like I went to fashion school in LaSalle College. I studied there for around 2 years. I just knew at the beginning of this school journey that it wasn't going to be the way that I was going to learn everything. So eventually I went off to intern for different brands in the city, and I got to learn a lot more like on the fly and also like in the industry. And then eventually I started my own brand while I was in school. So like some days I would like be late to class because like I would have to go to like Post Canada. It would open at like 7 and class was at 7. So I was always like on my grind to like, you know, just do my thing and just kind of like learn on the fly, you know? So I feel like that was kind of like my way of learning. And then eventually after 2 years, I did a trip to Asia for a month, backpack solo. And I got to learn a lot about like being independent and just self-reliant on me and discovering myself. And that's when I decided to drop out and then start my own brand called No Diploma. Yeah. So that's the origin story.
Yeah. And do you think that trip kind of triggered you to want to create No Diploma?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It
Why?
like changed my whole perspective on things, you know? And I felt like I was relying on a lot of people's judgment and, you know, on people's like, just trying to like fulfill other people's joy or happiness and not my own, you know? So when I went there alone, I got to really sit with me and myself, my thoughts, my aspirations for life, and that's where I kind of discovered my inner compass, you know, to really, you know, drive to what I want to do. So yeah,
inner compass, I'm gonna start using that.
Right?
you know,
I like that.
it's a bar. I told you we're gonna come with a lot of bars today, so yeah.
They were lying.
Ben Laura.
Hey, Zen Ben.
That's a good one.
So that being said, now that we know the origin story, so what was what would you say is like the inspiration behind the brand, and how do you guys feel like you remain consistent with it now throughout the branding of the company?
I think like starting off, I just remember chilling a lot in like different coffee shops and seeing a lot of like people wear different academia merchandise, whether it's like representing their school, representing like their class that they're in. So I feel like I got really inspired by the school language of things, design language. And I just wanted to apply that to the brand in an ironic way. Like, hey, what about us? Like, what's the school we could represent ourselves with if we didn't go to school? So I wanted to kind of create some sort of language that people could already relate to, and then just make it very ironic in a pleasant way, you know? So for people to understand on a universal level as well. And the way that we keep it consistent is just having, you know, a great team of individuals who, you know, strive to be better and just to always, you know, like Teo, for example, like he discovered the brand. He was like, he was our first customer, like literally our first customer.
Like
third maybe. But like every drop we did, and like we're having like, I don't know, a few people buy our things like when we started. It wasn't, it was just like friends and family. So as soon as I got like a random kid like Teo like buy into the brand, it was like, for me, that was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And like to see his kind of like energy towards No Diploma and stuff like that, it inspires us too, because everyone kind of came together. Like you attract the community, you know, that you attract your tribe, you know, when you put out your work. So I feel like Teo was one of those guys, and he just, you know, ended up working with a brand. Like,
right. So how did you go from customer to now part of the team?
It was like, if No Diploma had like 100 fans, I was the first one. If they had 10, I was the first one.
Facts.
And they
if they had one fan, it was me, and if they had 0, I was dead. So basically,
facts.
I don't know. I studied film production in Cégep at Champlain College, and basically I had a project in a class that was called the documentary filmmaking, and the end project was like, oh, you need to shoot a documentary on something or someone that like inspires you and you find interesting, and you have to apply like documentary techniques to it. So I was like, well, what I'm really into right now is No Diploma. So what I did was I hit up Ben and I was like, was like, yo, can I like film you for like a documentary? And like he said, okay, sure, but like you're gonna have to like also come and film this BTS for us, which was like the I don't know if you've seen it, like the skate park shoot from the rugbies. It was like way back. It was 2020.
I remember that.
Fall 2020.
Yeah.
I shot the BTS for that because in exchange he would let me like interview him for the documentary.
Ben already had you working from day one.
Yeah.
And then like I think that same night or like the next day I went to like his apartment and like we shot it. And then I followed him around. We went to like where we get like all our fabric done, like embroidery, all that. I filmed some of that, filmed some packaging, helped him with the packaging, and I just ended up sticking around after that.
Yeah.
So it's like the most unconventional story, but it's a very like organic way of starting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good job.
Yeah.
I like that though.
But what made you stay?
Yeah.
Because like it's one thing to start with a brand, because I feel like sometimes when you start with a brand that you admire and you work with them so closely, you kind of get a different image from what you thought as a consumer versus like what they actually are.
I feel like
I feel like that question was kind of shitty. What did
No,
you
that-
say?
no,
But,
no,
like,
that was good.
I feel like Ben was already like pretty transparent about certain things of the brand before I got involved. So I feel like it didn't come as a surprise to me. For example, when I found out that he ran it from his apartment, like he used to say it in like lives and stuff, you know? And I guess it's just, he's like a very like open person that you can talk to and like actually conversate with, feel like you're not like a subordinate or something. You know?
Right.
And that's the thing too, like these days when we all work together, it's not like Ben's the owner, we're just helping him. It's like
There's no
we're
hierarchy.
all the owner.
Yeah.
You know? He just happens to have created it.
Yeah.
But we all have like our equal part of like
Building it.
building the brand.
That's important.
Yeah, and I think it kind of brings a sense of pride too, because you feel so invested in the brand as much as he is, as opposed to being like chipping in because you have to or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you feel an obligation, so it doesn't feel like work.
And also he gave me free shit. So.
Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe for more. My name is Bernie. And my name is Yasmine. Remember, love always and always love.